Rev up your engines! All right, it's box cutter time. Back in Rhode Island, people sell me a bunch of boxes. Let's see what's in it, if it's anything that's worthwhile. You might find interesting, you might find funny, or you might think is really stupid. Let's start with a big box. Well, I already opened the big box, so behind the big box is an oilless air compressor. Some assembly required. There we go. They got to put wheels on it too. Well, it's not too complicated. And there we go. The interesting thing about this compressor is it is oil-free technology. There's no oil in it, but it has 2 cylinders. Now, there's a raging debate whether you should have an oiled compressor or an oilless one, and they go both ways. Basically, these oilless ones have specially coated piston rings and insides so that they're self-lubricating, and they claim that they last as long as the entire compressor will. Now, the old style oiled compressors have splash lubrication. The oil goes inside and lubricates them. The problem is they're extremely noisy. They're generally for large shops. As you can see, this is small. It's got a 6-gallon container, but they claim that it works really well. So I'm going to be testing it out over the next months and years to see how it does last. And believe you me, if it falls apart early, you're going to be the first ones to know. When something breaks, I tell the world about it. So let's see if it really is quiet. They claim they're quiet. All right, we'll turn it on. And actually, for an air compressor, it is relatively quiet. And it really isn't all that loud. My other ones are super loud compared to this thing. We were right next to it. We'll go back a little and listen. Well, for an air compressor, it's actually relatively quiet. You're always going to make some noise, but it's a lot quieter than the oiled ones that I have for sure. Just don't fall for some of the BS advertising companies have where they say, oh, I got one of these, I use it in my house for hobbies, and it doesn't make any noise. They make noise. They're air compressors. And it's got a 6-gallon metal container, holds a reasonable amount of air. It's going to make some noise. Now, I'm going to be trying it out over a few months to see, does it hold up? Does it work? But I can't test it out now because they didn't send me a hose. I got to go get some hoses. But here's my air impact. I can plug it in here, and we'll see if it works. Sounds good. But only time will tell on that if they last. I'm interested to try out one of these oilless compressors. I've actually never used one. So, will the bell toll good or bad? Only time will tell. Well, here's the next box. Let's see what's in this one. I didn't open it yet. And what's inside? The moment we've all been waiting for. Cool floor mats. Now, these are custom-made Manichi mats for the wife's matrix. We've got utilitarian ones, but I thought we'd go a little fancier. So these guys said we can send you some fancy ones to try out. So it's out with the old utilitarian ones. They work perfectly fine, but they're kind of basic. They're not that comfortable. And then with the new fancy ones. And we get rid of the old back ones too. Nice set of back ones. And as you can see now, ta-da! Look at these beautiful mats. Nice underlayment, nice mat, front and back. What a difference. Nice leatherettes on it. I mean, it's beautiful. And best of all, it's wife approved. I just showed them to her and she said, you know, I was just thinking, we should get some new mats. Those old ones are looking kind of ugly. Well, you certainly can't say these are ugly. These new Manichi mats, I gotta say, I'm impressed. I've had them before, and the quality was good before. We'll see how long these ones last. And what's in the next box? Well, let's open it up, find out. And here you go, an X-Tool scan tool, IP616. We're going to test this out. Now, this is a $369 scan tool last time I checked, so it's not super expensive, it's not cheap. We're going to see what this does over the summer months now. I do have to say I already like the setup because it's a plug-in. I find wireless to be a pain in the butt with scan tools. Sometimes the wireless dongle doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. This just plugs into the dash, you push a button, and that's all you need. It's booting up, but unfortunately, it came empty, so I got to charge it up. We'll charge it up, and then in the next few months, we'll see how this X-Tool, $369 scan tool does. We'll compare it to what I say is the gold standard, the Autels. I find that the Autels, for that kind of money, are usually the best, but I'm going to compare this. A lot of companies promise stuff. We're going to find out, but I do like them with the plug-in and not wireless connector for another reason. And that's, we're charging it up now. When you're running one of these that plugs into your dash, while you're using it, the battery of the car is actually charging it up. So you don't have to be in the middle of a job, the battery goes dead. This thing runs off the car battery. We'll see how it lasts, but I kind of like the ones that are wired versus the wireless ones myself. What's in the next box? Well, it's a Phoenix injector, and I know these work because this is my third one. My grandson stole the first one. The second one's in Tennessee, and the company said, would you like to try out our new one? I said, sure. Send me one in Rhode Island, so I'll have one there too, and I won't have to take it back and forth. So here it is. If you're bleeding any kind of brake line, hydraulic lines, these are phenomenal. It's reverse bleeding. Understand one thing. Air wants to do what? It wants to rise. If you bleed brakes normally, you're trying to get the master cylinder to push the air down to the wheels and get it up. But of course the air wants to go up. So with this case, you just hook these up to your wheel. You pump. And you know what happens when you pump? It pumps the fluid and the air up to the master cylinder. Then the air bubbles just bubble out inside the master cylinder, and that's it. They're no longer in the pressurized part of the system. I like these because they're made out of metal. Now, if you want, you can buy a cheaper version that's made out of plastic for do-it-yourselfers. But I found that doesn't last as long. I like the metal ones better. And it's a technology that's been used for years now. It's phenomenal to get the air out of any kind of hydraulic lines, brakes, clutch, whatever. Even airplanes. Guys love them in airplanes because they have huge hydraulic lines. And if you're trying to get the air to go up, it's a lot easier in a plane than making it go down. It's a long distance. So I know this works. This is my third one. There it is. It's hanging there now, so I'll know where it is. Comes the next box. Let's see what's in this one. Christmas in April there. Boy, they really kind of overboxed this one. And what do we have? Part of an electric car charger. It's an Autel car charger for electric cars. This part gave it away. It's got a storage for the charger too. There it goes. And indeed, it comes with directions. I'm a mechanic. I don't need no stinking directions. And I believe that's part one, and this is part two. Because they said they were sending a stand, too. No, this is something else. What a surprise. It's an Oliphant. It's an elephant. Oil extractor pump. These things are real handy. Looking at my email, I can see that the Autel car charger, they asked me, did I receive both boxes? No, I only got one. I just got here. There's supposed to be a stand and the wiring that goes to the house. That didn't come, so they're going to have to send that over again. Somebody in the shipping department screwed up. Well, nobody sent me an electric car yet, so I guess I could wait on the stand and the electric car to plug it into. So, here's the fluid extractor. And I'll tell you the truth, I like these mechanical ones. Nothing to break down. No motor, no pump, just simple hand action. Just plugs into the handle. You got various diameter hoses, various fittings, so you can suck fluids out. Those stupid modern transmissions don't have dipsticks. You can use them on them. You can use them for any kind of liquid moving around. They're real handy. And like I said, simple is better. Nothing to go wrong. And this one's cool because it's got a little pressure gauge. Watch. You pump it. Shows you the vacuum pressure and you let go. Goes back to zero. So you can also use it as a vacuum pump to test vacuum pressure. Pretty cool. 2-in-1. And what's in the next box? Well, kind of interesting. This company's called Neparel. They're light bulbs. They're regular LED bulbs you screw in, but when you run out of power, check it out. You now have glowing light bulbs you can turn on or off. So if you lose power, these things will last for quite some time. I had power loss in Tennessee. I could use one of these. There was a pain you couldn't see, but hey, you can just hang them wherever you want. You'll have built-in batteries if your power goes out. So you can see. Keep glowing in power outage. Daily use and backup energy light bulbs. All right, here's something that you don't want to use because you don't want to lose your power. But if you do lose your power, hey, at least you'll have some lights. Pretty interesting idea, hey. So instead of running around looking for flashlights that don't work, hey, oh yeah, I got one of those light bulbs and a lamp. Just unscrew it and away you go. You got LED power when your power goes out. And last but not least, what's in the box? Cobb rechargeable portable lights. As per usual, time will tell whether they last or not, but they seem relatively heavy duty, and with all these different angles they have on them, you can make it a bright light, so you get all the light coming one way, or one, the other, the red lights, and off. Lots of angles. Certainly get it wherever you want. Sure seems bright enough. Broad daylight now, and it shines pretty good shine. We'll see how they last. Turn it off and stick it on my shelf here. And since it came with two, I'll put one in the house too. But that drives my wife nuts, so I shall have to hide it down here with all these other things. I'll just have to remember they're there, including these cool egg lights. Well, the egg lights don't work anymore. So much for the egg lights. They've been sitting there, they're a failure. I tried to turn it on, they're broken. So guess what? The egg light goes in the garbage can. Cute idea, but failed. In the garbage can. So now we have it. I'm testing all this stuff out so you don't have to. And hey, I'll tell you the truth, just like that egg light. It sat in the drawer there for about a year, tried to turn it on, doesn't work. Down on that. We'll see how all these other products work. And of course, if you have any interesting products, feel free to send me them if you dare, because I will test them out honestly. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.